Some tough policy resolutions have been adopted by Action SA. We speak to its leader, Herman Mashaba. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thanks to Biz News for always giving us an opportunity to engage with your audience.
May we talk about some of those resolutions? Shall we start with the rule of law? What came out of that?
Well, I think one thing I can tell your listeners and the broader South African public is that we had a very successful, historic, groundbreaking policy conference. Our inaugural one, as you are aware, our party is only 3 years old. The launch on the 29th of August 2020. This policy conference had just over 600 delegates coming from all the 9 provinces, all led by their provincial chairpersons. And we've, as you've indicated in your opening remarks, real tough policy offerings we offer into South Africa because our country is in big trouble. If we are not going to really change the current political trajectory, this country will collapse, and we want to really work hard to ensure that South Africans are safe. To ask me about the rule of law. The rule of law it's a foundation of any nation. If you want to destroy the country, destroy the rule of law. You just imagine I live in a country where you and I have got a better chance of being murdered than anywhere in the world. Up to 80 people being murdered in our country. People being raped. Politicians and some private sector people still in this country. The level of corruption. We have our borders open to where people are bringing counterfeits, expired goods, bringing drugs to destroy not only our youth, they destroy our communities. So we've taken tough decisions. Just to share something with you, my view up to last week, I was really for the death penalty because with the level of high crime rate in South Africa, my personal feeling was the only way we can deal with crime in South Africa, we must bring back the death penalty. But the delegates and my colleagues, actually, including some of our legal experts and so forth, convinced me to say, Herman, we all agree the level of crime is unacceptable in the country, but trying to solve it by bringing the best penalty is not the best solution. Why? Firstly, we're going to end up killing poor people because of not having the necessary legal representation and the wealthy people getting away with murder. Secondly, if you look at how the ANC over the last 29 years, they've destroyed the entire criminal justice system. So you cannot rely on the current ANC criminal justice system. So to rebuild the criminal justice system is going to really take some time. We've agreed we must bring specialized units like what we had Chapter 9 institutions like the Scorpions to deal with the level of corruption, so that anyone involved in corruption, they must go to jail and go to jail for a long time with no chance of parole. Murderers, if they get life sentence, is going to be life sentence with hard labor. Rapists and the drug dealers themselves. We do want to establish specialized units to deal with cases of the murder and robbery. You remember in the past, we used to have Brixton murder and robbery squad. I grew up in a country where you murdered someone, the chances of being arrested and being punished were more than 80%. Today, we've got less than 5% chance, less than 10% chance of people being arrested. Even if they're arrested, there will no chances of being prosecuted unless, even after prosecution, they go to jail. Our jails are serving as like a drive-through kind of situation. We just witnessed what happened to Jacob Zuma. When you go to jail, you must go to jail. We are going to make sure that there's corrupt people involved in corruption, involved in heinous crimes. We must not even give them bail. And when they serve 15 years or 25 years or life, it must be life without parole and involving hard labor to pay back to society. We are saying, we as Action SA, we don't see why prisoners who have committed such heinous crimes to society must be given a chance to vote. We are saying we want to take away the right to vote, because we cannot really see how can they have the rights after really destroying and harming society.
Now, there were also some resolutions that would come as a relief to some people. Tell me about the one on drug use.
Well, I think, this whole issue of our borders being so porous, allowing international criminal syndicates to bring drugs into our country, destroy our youth, and in the process disrupt our families. Because if you look at the kind of drugs that people are bringing into South Africa, we have to be complicit as a nation if we're going to keep quiet and allow these criminals to destroy our people. So drug dealers, we are going to be after them, and I can tell you, we get them. They are found guilty through the normal judicial system. They will never see the outside of jail any longer, and they will work to pay back society for the damage that they've caused in disrupting our families.
But you don't believe that drug users should be punished?
No, we don't really believe the focus should really be on the drug users, because if you destroy the supply of these dangerous drugs into our nation, our people will be free from drugs. People are using drugs because of, firstly, no education, no job opportunities. Families are being disrupted. So if you, as Action SA, I can take you to our economic policy, where we believe no union will ever have a veto right on our economic policy, so that we can allow the private sector to create employment opportunities for South Africans. When people are educated and are working, you don't really have, and families are also intact. We know that too, you will completely close it, but people will know that drug dealers in particular, they know you become a drug dealer, we find you as Action SA, your chances of ever seeing the outside of jail are very slim. And those are tough decisions that we've taken, and we really mean it. For as long as I'm alive, working hard to unseat the ANC, we want to really bring about those kind of laws so that we can protect law-abiding South African citizens. And our youth, our youth, I view them as victims. So let's, on a short-term measure, build rehab centers where we can really give them the necessary support to really get this evil out of their system.
And the thinking behind the decriminalisation of prostitution?
Yeah, well, I think I don't understand how anyone in this day and age would want to spend our limited resources on prosecuting poor women who are really not really doing this business because they like to do it. Women who actually get involved in prostitution are those where there are no opportunities. So why waste public resources and our police time in dealing with those type of cases? Let us ensure that we protect these women. Right now, in a current environment, in any country where prostitution is not permitted, the people who get away are the pimps, who are actually the one actually making more money than these women, who are not protected. And you waste your limited resources on chasing the wrong people. So we believe prostitution has got to really be decriminalized. And we strongly believe if you decriminalize it, you create employment opportunities, you create the right education framework. The number of women going into prostitution will be honestly very less. Women go into prostitution because of the desperation of not getting employment opportunity, being exploited by others. So we believe decriminalizing prostitution is the right way to do.
Moving from crime to another big concern for most South Africans, the energy crisis?
Well, I think this one it's an obvious one. It's something that South Africans actually feel and touch literally every, I don't know how many times a day. So we believe ESKOM must run in competition with the private sector. It must run on a commercial basis, put in professional people to run ESKOM, and they must run it on a commercial basis. If they can't make money, they cannot run it in a commercial manner. Let them die, let it die a natural death. But at the same time, open the market up to the private sector investments.
What about BEE?
ANC policy that has failed and destroyed our economy, destroyed black businesses in the townships, creating oligarchs. Given the mandate to really be the government in this country, we are asking South Africans, this BEE is a very divisive policy. What we're saying as Action SA, we want to come out with our own policy that is going to embrace all South Africans, but recognizing the fact that we come from the many years of colonialism, we come from many years of apartheid, we come out of 29 years of ANC corruption. So we are saying businesses must contribute a certain percentage of their profits that must actually go into what we call an opportunity fund, run by private individual professional people to ensure that we can fund small businesses in the townships and communities which were failed by the ANC government, that touches millions of people. We must go and build the best schools, best clinics, best universities in these communities, allow the small businesses to really get favorable funding opportunities coming out of this. And this project, we run it for 30 years. We believe in 30 years then we'll really be able to normalize the situation. It can't be an open-ended looting like what the ANC has done. It is for that reason we are asking South Africans, give us the mandate, this being of ANC. We are going to bury it in an unmarked grave where you'll never see it again, because it's been a very divisive destruction of a policy that created oligarchs, like what happened in Russia.
Coming to governance, you're looking at a very small cabinet of what size?
Well, I think we've taken a decision. We can have maximum number of cabinet ministers should not exceed 20. We believe South Africa can run with a maximum of 20 the cabinet ministers. If we can get it less, even better. But the resolution taken by our conference is that our cabinet should not exceed 20, and we don't need a single deputy minister. We see and view them as just an unnecessary liability to South Africa. What do they save? So we really need a small the cabinet that must be held accountable by the people of South Africa. We will do that. Really make sure that when you become the Minister of Education, you must have the necessary skills to really be the Minister of Education. When you're a Minister of Police, you must be someone who has gone through the ranks of the police. You know what policing is and so forth. We must commit to regular lifestyle audits, which must be the outcomes thereof must be made to public. So if you want to really serve under an Action SA government, then you have to open yourself to regular lifestyle audits to make sure that you get paid R1 million. We expect you to live R1 million lifestyle. If we find somewhere along the line you earn R1 million but you live 10 million rands life, unfortunately, you're not going to get away with it, because it's going to be part and parcel of your contractual arranged agreement, not with us as a party. We want you to commit to society that you will never get involved in corruption. Your lifestyle will be in line with what South Africa pays you. The taxpayer, because government money is not government money. It's the South African money. Unlike how the ANC is treating public funds as if it's their own money. I hear from time to time President Cyril Ramaphosa with no shame, asking poor people where he knows he's he's not telling them the truth, saying ANC government to build your schools, to build your clinics, and he says clap for the government. What nonsense is this? You've got to be ashamed of yourself. It's because it's not ANC money. Government money, it's public money, belongs to the people of South Africa that are derived from the taxes.
So those are some of the major resolutions that Action SA will be taking to the voters in the run-up to our next election. Have you noticed any growth in party membership in recent months?
On a daily basis. In fact, I think about 2 hours ago, I was given the results because on a weekly basis, we can pick up on our system how many new members have signed up countrywide, every province, every municipality, and so forth. Once you register anywhere in the country, our system picks you up and obviously then allocate you to your province and allocate you to your municipality, allocate you to your ward, allocate you to your voting district. So at any point in time, we have our membership. Our membership is way in excess of over 200,000.
So you're looking at next year's election. What do you see?
Well, I think I would really be giving you an academic number. Still very early. You remember in 2021 when we contested the local government election, when we were only a year old, every single analyst and professors said if we get 3 councillors in Johannesburg, we would have done well. We ended up with 44, becoming the 3rd biggest political party in the city of Johannesburg, with 44, becoming the 3rd party. We brought down the ANC in 5 years from 124 councillors to current 90. We brought down the DA from 104. When I was the mayor for the DA in 2016, we were 104 councillors. Right now, they've got 71, followed by Action SA with 44 councillors. You know who's the 4th? EFF at 29. 29 councillors, Action SA 44. So what can we really expect? I heard to my colleague one day, the other day, saying our crunching the numbers as we speak. 2 weeks ago, we were looking at between 12 and 15%. But I think it was based on at the national level, based on 2 weeks assessment. And you can imagine it was before the policy conference. How many more people have they been exposed to Action SA? People have been behind us, even not really sure of our policy offering. Now that the people know exactly what we stand for, we believe you're going to really see, if ever you were surprised by our electoral performance in 2021, I can tell you we are going to shake up the political landscape in this country. One of the important policy approval is on international relations and these porous borders. We recognize that South Africa was built at the back of migrants, and we want to continue attracting people of the world to come to this country, bring in your investments, come in for holiday to this beautiful country of ours. We'll ensure that we protect you. But come here legally, and when you are here, respect our laws. If not, I'm afraid we'll send you back where you came from. Like any other self-respecting sovereign country, that's really what we all about as Action SA. Even in terms of international bodies, the way South Africa is right now, we said we will take the assessment of our position once we're in government. Because at the end of the day, it's got to be our membership of those countries. Do they serve the interest of South Africa? We must look at whether any association in any of the organization must be saving South Africa first. And those are things that we said would let us to keep existing membership of all the organizations where South Africa is until such time that we get into government. Once we get into government, our foreign policy, whoever is going to lead the Minister of Foreign Affairs has to immediately put in the necessary teams to ensure that all these bodies are serving the interest of South Africa, not serving the interest of anyone else.
Lastly, your party is part of a coalition pact. How is the pact holding up?
Well, I think absolutely. Action SA signed the multi-party charter. There is no pact. The pact was also buried about a month ago when we signed the multi-party charter for South Africa. We too, as Action SA, we're still committed to this. But one thing that is clear in all the parties, we all agreed when we go out there and campaign, we campaign as Action SA. The multi-party charter, it is an insurance in the event we don't get outright majority at national and provincial level, where we can then coalesce with parties that shares almost the same policies as us, the better devils. And I remember, in fact, in the meeting which we had a few weeks ago, I said, guys, we are not here for friendship. We are here to serve South Africa. We are not here for our own personal interest. I said, I'm not here because I want your friendship. And I'm sure even with you guys, I don't expect you because you need my friendship. We are here to hold each other accountable. Let us treat ourselves to say we are better devils. There are other devils we cannot deal with, but let's really use that analysis that we are here to work together as better devils. But we're not here to really make friends, because I'm not in politics to make friends with anyone. I think the price is too much. 60 million South Africans' lives are dependent on decisions that I take. So I cannot really take decisions based on my own personal self-interest.
Thank you. That was Action SA leader Herman Mashaba speaking to BizNews about the policy offering his party will be taking to the voters for the next election. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.